Good night. You know I'd much rather have dinner with you.
Oh, I understand, James. Please hurry back.
I'll ring as soon as I do. A midnight snack might be just the thing.
I'll keep the wine properly chilled.
And everything else warm, I trust.
I used to think tropical destinations were the worst places for a man to dress up. With the blazing sun, intense heat, and sticky humidity, it's easy to break a sweat, even if you're just wearing shorts and sandals. I couldn't help but imagine how perfect it would be to live somewhere cooler, like the Italian or French Riviera, where the sun still shines but a cool breeze tempers the air. A truly optimal climate, I must say. For a long time, I despised the weather here in Bangkok, using it as an excuse to avoid dressing well and instead justifying the gym clothes everywhere mindset. From lifting weights to strolling the city, even attending university classes, I embraced that overly casual look. Looking back, I realized just how sloppy and unrefined that was. Even when I first stepped into the world of sartorial style, the classic menswear tradition tailored to a refined aesthetic, I still felt a tinge of envy towards friends in Tokyo, New York, and London. Places where layering is possible, where one doesn't have to contend with constant sweat. But recently, I had an epiphany. The fact that, despite the heat and humidity of the tropics, I still crave dressing in classic style means something. It signifies that my self-identity is bound to a particular image, the image of an elegant gentleman who holds himself to a certain standard, who feels at ease in his attire and conveys that energy to others. Yet the challenge remained. I didn't know how to dress with sartorial elegance in tropical weather. Back then, I wore a worsted wool grey suit everywhere, which, as you can imagine, isn't always ideal for every place or occasion. Fast forward a year, and I've finally pieced it all together. Now, no matter how tropical the weather, nothing will stop me from dressing with elegance, ease, and comfort. And yes, gentlemen, you don't have to sacrifice style for comfort. The key is learning how to wear it right in this climate, and that's exactly what we'll explore in this week's issue, which I hope it settles the argument that it's too hot to dress up elegantly once and for all. So first, I think that we need to dive into human nature to understand why dressing up is such a challenge in tropical places. Nature has placed mankind under the governance of two sovereign masters, pain and pleasure. From that quote, one thing we can agree on is that it perfectly defines the ugly truth about us human beings. While deep down, we have a drive to strive for nobility, our nature is rooted in the path of least resistance, a desire for casualness that requires less effort to accomplish things. This has been proven through the evolution of both menswear and societal behavior. In menswear, even in the golden age of the 1930s, there were signs of leaning toward casual. From the increase of black tie over more formal white tie to the abandonment of waistcoats in favor of double-breasted jackets. For behavioral shifts, we see it daily. From making the effort to walk up to someone we are interested in and start a conversation in real life, to just, simply opening a dating app and swiping left or right. These are examples of the least resistant path that humans often take to achieve the same goal with less effort. Now, let's return to tropical climates, a condition where the burning sun and uncomfortable humidity combine to make putting on clothes feel unbearable. If the path of least resistance is truly ingrained in human psychology, then the excuse "I can't dress up because it's too hot" could mean one or two things. Whether looking good hold little to no importance to their identity, or looking good can be done with athleisure clothes. And since society's standards have never been lower, there's no longer a requirement for men and women to dress elegantly because there's no social punishment. Instead, indirect disapproval often targets the ladies and gentlemen who choose to dress up in an elegant manner. For nonconformity, the world whips you with its displeasure. Ralph Waldo Emerson. This means both internal nature and external circumstances act as waves of resistance for those who dare to dress up sartorially in tropical weather in an overly casual society. You could say that by putting on a summer suit, it's like swimming against the tide. So, what's the actual benefit here? What's the benefit for gentlemen and ladies in the 21st century who refuse to give in to the norm, choosing instead to dress elegantly? Gentlemen, In my humble opinion, it's because they realize that elegance has no excuse. Elegance is not about being noticed, it's about being remembered. Giorgio Armani. That's something humanity has lost in the 21st century compared to the last. The art of putting others at ease with style and class. Humans are social creatures, and whether we like it or not, our physical presence in society impacts how others perceive us. Though some might claim that, oh, I don't care what people think, the consequences of being too casual still play out. Luckily, in a century where standards for dressing, etiquette, and social interaction have never been lower, many can get away with presenting themselves in athleisure attire in public. But let's look at the other side of the coin. A gentleman who holds high standards for how he presents himself. When this man dresses, he doesn't just throw on any clothes he finds in his wardrobe. He gives careful attention to his choices, from fabric to color and garment type. He reflects his sophisticated attitude without saying a word. While this might seem pretentious to some, the difference lies in his attitude and how he carried himself. If the gentleman can wear sartorial pieces like a tailored jacket, shirt, trousers, and leather footwear with ease, he won't show signs of insecurity or neediness. Instead, he channels his confidence to others. This creates an irresistible allure that affects everyone he encounters, from men to women, leaving them wondering who is he and how he carries himself with such ease while dressed so elegantly. That's the beauty of elegance, a state where you experience nobility and virtue in life by presenting yourself to the world with ease, class, and manner. Now, you might be thinking, alright Patrick, but you still haven't answered our curiosity. How do you dress elegantly in tropical place without feeling out of context or sweating through a jacket or suit? Well, gentlemen, that's more good news. Sartorial style is limited to just jackets, dress shirts, tie, and leather footwear. It's much more than that. If sartorial style means classic menswear tailored to a specific taste, then we need to define what actually constitutes classic menswear. Classic implies high-quality items that stand the taste of the time. And here's my personal criteria for classic menswear. It must be a garment that features a timeless design proven over decades. It must be a garment that's made of high-quality natural materials. If synthetic materials are included, there should be a good reason beyond cost-cutting. And it should be a garment that shows a significant level of craftsmanship. Any garment meeting these criteria is considered classic menswear, and those tailored to your unique body and taste are sartorial, meaning there's more to it than typical perception. Let me give you an example of classic menswear beyond the usual tailor jacket and Oxford shoes. For outerwear, we have safari or jungle jacket, Harrington jacket, and shore jacket. For shirts, consider unique fabric and weaves like seersucker in casual shirts, polo, both short and long sleeves, and the Breton sailor shirt. For trousers, variation inspired by classic styles includes chinos, gurkha, and of course, jeans. For footwear, aside from typical race model like Oxford and Derby shoes, slip-ons such as loafers, moccasins, espadrilles, and boat shoes count, as well as fisherman-style sandals. As you can see, gentlemen, the world of sartorial has more variety than the typical image, and those are just a few items on the list. The next step is to explore which types of classic garments suit a tropical aesthetic perfectly, balancing aesthetic appeal with functionality and practicality. In this case, fabric and construction plays a huge role. The fewer garments you layer on, the easier it is to blend with the environment, though adding a layer like a jacket won't out of place if you choose the right type. I explain this concept of fabric and garment construction in my ebook, Sartorial Codex. If you're watching this video, you'll probably find it in the description. But in short, here's my take. For fabrics, cotton, linen, and lightweight wool are your best friends. Cotton with seersucker weave, for example, allows more airflow and has a unique wave texture, originally rooted in tropical regions. Wool weaves like hopsack and high twist are also excellent. They're resistant to creasing and breathable. For construction, it depends on the garment. For instance, a jacket lining is often half or unlined, and inner construction is kept minimal. And if it's a canvas jacket, it should be lightweight. And for footwear, There's a type of unlined construction that offer flexibility and comfort, though it may feel unusual if you're accustomed to more structured shoes. In essence, seek out lightweight, breathable fabrics with lightweight construction. Now, I know this sounds abstract and hard to visualize, which is why I'm bringing you examples of very tropical sartorial styles from the gentlemen of the 20th century. The many ways of expressing tropical elegance. While many of the films I admire are set in places where railing and heavier fabrics are permissible, even in their summer, there are also plenty that capture the essence of tropical elegance. Aligned perfectly with our theme, from Africa to the Riviera, numerous icons of the 20th century have shown us how to do it well. While some of these styles aren't strictly tropical, but their principles of style and practicality are absolutely relevant. Let's start with one that's likely most familiar to you. Western climates vary widely, so summer isn't a universal experience. If I had to pick a region and style that's adaptable to tropical weather, though the Riviera style is ideal. Take, for instance, Plein Soleil or Purple Noon in 1960, which showcases this style perfectly. The film star one of the most complete men and greatest actors in French cinema, Alain Delon. Adapted from Patricia Highsmith's The Talented Mr. Ripley, led a film under the same title in 1999. The story explores themes of desire amid the facade of leisurely sophistication. Set in southern Italy, Plein Soleil is the ultimate showcase of Riviera style, the effortless elegance of coastal cities. Here's a glimpse of how Alain Delon embodied tropical elegance in this setting. Throughout the film, he carries a lightweight jacket, often in wool or linen, and in a light color palette. Whether he wears or simply has it on hand depends on the moment, but it shows an elegant readiness. He's prepared for the unexpected. For a more casual look, he has a range of great pieces. The classic OCBD, shirts in linen or piqué, or printed silk shirt, each ideal for warmer weather. He pairs these with medium-weight grey trousers or white denim for the ultimate in casual. DeLong even sports swimwear, pairing striped trunks with a towel shirt, or, in his film case, a towel blazer. When it's come to footwear, he wears loafers as a versatile choice. Now, southern Italy or France isn't tropical in the true sense, because humidity is lower, which makes wearing a suit less of a stretch. But the aesthetic and practicality of this style translate well to tropical environments, especially near the beach or on coastal boulevards. While it might not look as ultra-relaxed as today's takes on leisure wear like hoodies, sweatpants, and trainers, gentlemen, believe me, Riviera's style offers a level of comfort that competes with these athleisure, but with infinitely more elegance. For an even closer match to tropical climates, consider a place that balances layering, utility, and elegance. From the king of Hollywood himself, Clark Gable in Mogambo, from 1953. This film, Mogambo, holds a special place as a film that captured Clark Gable's refined masculine charm, highlighted Ava Gardner's femme fatale allure, and marked a rising moment for Grace Kelly in her early career. This film blends passion and adventure against the backdrop of an African safari. Throughout the film, Gables wears the iconic safari jacket, a perfect choice for his role as a big game hunter and for the African setting. Done right in lightweight linen or cotton, the safari jacket becomes a hallmark of tropical elegance, a piece every wardrobe would benefit from. Gable's other pieces complement this rugged yet polished look. He sports a short-sleeved knit polo, high-waisted double-fold pleated cotton trousers, suede boots, and a neckerchief to complete the ensemble. This look has inspired countless designers, from Ralph Lauren on Madison Avenue to Yves Saint Laurent on the Champs-Élysées. So, gentlemen, if you prioritize functionality in clothing but prefer to stay away from traditional formal wear, the safari-inspired look for Mogambo is a perfect style to explore. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, yeah, Patrick, but we don't live in an environment like Cannes or Kenya. We are in a true tropical setting, just like you. Is there anyone who can pull off tropical elegance in an urban setting? The answer is yes. And I must apologize for invoking him yet again. But when it's come to embodying the classic masculine gentleman of elegance, nobody does it better than Sir Roger Moore as Ian Fleming James Bond 007 in The Man with the Golden Gun. The reason why it has to be this film is because it's mainly set in the tropical region of East Asia, and it's actually Bangkok, the place where heat and humidity reign supreme and where many men and women have given up on the idea of elegance. Roger Moore is considered the most elegant Bond of all time, and there's a reason for that. Though his tailoring might not as sharp as earliest Connery Bond by Anthony Sinclair, he's still able to pull off tropical elegance through the image of Bond in the urban tropics of Bangkok. For suits, there's certainly lightweight fabric, blended between wool, mohair, and silk in both light grey and dark colors, for day wear and night wear, just as Bond always does. For all jackets, if you wonder whether a safari jacket would work outside Africa, most Bond shows just how to don it in an urban tropical setting like Bangkok, or in light tone colors. There's also a bold plaid sport jacket where he chooses for a business casual look. Another aspect we can learn from his choices is the occasion of layering. For a truly sunny outdoor day in Bangkok, Roger Moore's Bond often forgoes layering, wearing only a single shirt or just a safari jacket at his top garment. While The Man with the Golden Gun might not be his most memorable Bond film to connoisseurs, this piece is a master showcase and proof of the appeal and possibility of achieving tropical elegance, no matter how hot and humid the place is. But as usual, my issue won't end with just an abstract concept and leave you with impractical ideas. So gentlemen, may I present you the principles of tropical elegance, the proven way to be stylish in a sartorial sense, even in a very tropical climate.
How can I refuse such a gracious invitation?
Sartorial elegance is not just about the clothes, it's about how you wear them and the confidence they give you. Alan Frasser. As I've shared before, my view on elegance is to be at ease with intention and to channel that energy to those around you. So, the complexity of tropical elegance lies in this question: how can you put others at ease with your sartorial attire? Because simply dressing in this style is challenging enough in places suited to these clothes, but in hot, humid regions where the masses favor simpler, fewer layers, the challenge is even greater. Still, gentlemen, as we agreed, elegance has no excuse. So I hope these principles will guide you as you bring elegance to life under the sun. The first principle, without a doubt, is to always be aware of context before dressing. If there's one concept I repeat often, of course apart from enclosed cognition, is this: context defines every aspect of your attire and ultimately determines whether you achieve elegance or not. It's about knowing what you're going to do, whom you will meet, where and when the occasion takes place, and choosing your attire accordingly. This is especially crucial in tropical climates where extreme casualness often prevails, increasing the risk of being out of context in sartorial attire. But blending into the casually dressed crowd has never my goal, and likely not yours. What we need to do is find the optimal balance between these two worlds. Consider Roger Moore's 007 in The Man with the Golden Gun. He's in Bangkok, where heat and humidity are constant, yet he maintains elegance, high standards, and class. His approach exemplifies this principle perfectly. When he's in a setting where professionalism and authority are required, he wears a suit, though with optimal construction, where I'll cover in the next principles. But when he's outdoor, in a more casual context, he skips layers, choosing lightweight yet sophisticated pieces like a safari jacket or a short sleeve off-white shirt, paired with loafers. Watching The Man with the Golden Gun, you won't sense any out-of-context ostentation, just a seamless example of context-based styling in a tropical setting. Now, speaking of layering, the next principle will provide criteria and guidelines on this. Aptly named Layering with Intention. Style is knowing who you are, what you want to say, and not giving a damn. Go Vito. Layering adds depth and sophistication to attire, and is a huge advantage for those living in climates where layering is practical. But in tropical setting, as I mentioned earlier, adding layers under the intense sun can feel like swimming against the tide. However, many gentlemanly icons who have traveled and live in tropical climates still found ways to layer, and their secret is having intention behind it. When I say intention, I'm not referring to occasions or specific events, but also the personal style expression that layering conveys. This means there's no strict limit on layering. To pull it off with style and effortless elegance, all you need is a clear intention behind each layer. Take Alain Delon in Plan Soleil is a master of this principle. Delon always carries a jacket with him, wearing it or not, depending on whether he wants to project confidence or command in an interaction, or express an effortlessly nonchalant look. So, layering is entirely acceptable for achieving elegance in tropical climates. You simply need to do it with substance and style. And to execute this perfectly, we arrive at the final principle of tropical elegance. Focus on the palette and construction. The eye has evolved mechanisms to perceive differences in brightness, sharpening our ability to see details in lighter tones when exposed to high level of illumination. Michael Francis Land. This is why when we think of a summer suit or summer cloth, colors like ivory, light gray, beige, brown, and pastels are usually the ones that come to mind. Looking at films like Plan Soleil, Mocambo, and The Man with the Golden Gun, you'll notice a similar pattern, the harmony of light color palette. For best result, my personal recommendation is to use trousers as an anchor within the ensemble. Ivory, beige, and light gray work perfectly. For footwear, brown do the job well, from dark to light tone. So, the beauty lies in the upper part, where you have the choice of padding from dark to light tones. Since you're already anchoring the ensemble with trousers and footwear, from pastel to stripe, the options here are endless. Beyond color, construction is essential. Light construction to be precise. This principle combines practicality and aesthetic appeal. Lightweight materials like cotton, linen, and certain wools like hopsack or high twist are ideal for tropical climates. For garments, as seen on various style icons, soft tailoring is usually preferred, a safari jacket or a lightweight sport jacket for instance. For shirts, it's often a long-sleeve linen or a knit cotton polo. When you bring these principles together, awareness of context, layering with intention, and mastery of a light color palette and garment construction, you too can achieve the lost virtue of elegance even in the midst of humidity and intense sunlight. And that, gentlemen, is the essence of being a gentleman in this overly casual society. That's all for this issue. I hope you found what you are looking for, and if you have any ideas or comments to share, the comment section is always open for you. Gentlemen, as always, thank you for your time, and I hope to see you in the next one. Have a great day.